Okay, Chase Porter, I promised you a pitching video analysis. Um, I'm not going to give you much constructive criticism here because what I've seen in your pitching delivery is absolutely dynamic and outstanding. Okay, that doesn't mean there can't be the odd little tweak to make improvements. But you know what? Man, is it good. I would use yours as the gold standard for the rest of our pitchers, to be honest with you. I've got you paired up with another fella here who's of small stature as well. I could have paired you up with Aroldis Chapman or guys like that who are 6'5" and genetic freaks. But I figured, you know what? Here's a guy who gets a tremendous amount out of a small frame. This was back when he was with the Giants and throwing in the mid-90s. Just to show you what he does with his pitching delivery to get absolutely everything he can out of it. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible. I'll take you into your wind-up here. You've got a very interesting little wind-up. I like it. It's a little quirky, but I absolutely love it because that's your little way of getting timed up and ready to roll. We're going to get you up into leg lift. Nice, simple little delivery. Head's not on the target all the way. You lose your target, and a lot of pitchers do this as they get into their leg lift. They'll lose the target briefly and then pick it up once they start towards the target. Nothing wrong with that. That's just your style. Okay, we'll take you a little bit further here to the apex of that leg lift. And now you look like you're ready to come down the hill. Okay, I absolutely love seeing a guy come down the hill leading with the front hip. That front hip has to go towards the target. This is the linear portion of the pitching motion that I really like. You're going to get a tremendous amount of power out of both the linear and the rotational part of the delivery. Okay, let's have a look at Tim Lincecum. Here he goes. As he reaches the apex, he's actually starting to move that. This isn't straight on, but he's actually starting to move that hip towards the target as well. He doesn't lose the target with his eyes, though. He tries to keep his eyes on the target as he's doing everything. So let's take you to the next position I like to get to, is where your front foot actually passes your front hip. Okay, so here we go. Right about there. Okay, it's pretty close. Yeah, we'll say there. Okay, you had good motion. You've got a nice, I like to call this back leg your force vector. That's the leg that's creating the linear force. And we look at the vector, the angle of degree that it's at when your front foot passes your front hip. Okay, because that's the leg that's driving linearly towards the plate. I like the ball down low like that as well. I like it hanging down low, back down in here. Gives you a nice wide arm swing, which is outstanding. A nice arc on your arm swing. So let's look at Tim Lincecum here again. He's going to do something very similar. You'll watch. He'll have the ball down very low, just like you do. Ball comes out of the glove and goes way down low. Okay, and he's really leading with the hip. That's what this arrow is showing. He's really leading with the hip. You guys are in reasonably similar positions. You're leaning back just a little bit more pronounced than he is. He's still got a little bit of a nice shoulder lean in here. Okay, he's got the glove out front, ball hanging down below, just like you do. Very, very similar. Unfortunately, we don't have the straight on angle here. So let's take you to front foot strike. That's the next position I really like. Everything's looking pretty good here. It's looking pretty dynamic. Okay, so away we go. That went rather quickly. Boom, right into front foot strike, which is pretty nice. You've really driven hard with that back leg into, I like to call this my stable leg. It's my wall. It's when I hit this guy here, my linear force is going to slam my hips open. Okay, and it's going to create tremendous amount of hip to shoulder separation right here. So there's your shoulders back, and now your belt buckle's almost facing the target. You've got that nice separation. That's going to give you tremendous torsional energy. Okay, you got the glove tucked in nice. That does two things. It puts your glove in good fielding position. Should someone actually square one up and hit one right back at you, you can get it in front of your face real quick. Okay, not only that, when it's pulled in tight, it allows you to spin quicker. Okay, kind of like those figure skaters. When they want to spin faster, they have to pull their arms in, closer to their center of gravity. Okay, so let's have a quick look at Tim Lincecum and see where he gets to on front foot strike. Man, is that nice. And he's doing the same thing. He's got a tremendous, his force vector, just like yours. You've come off the rubber. You've gotten closer to the plate. Your force vector is in a good line to drive into that stable leg, that landing leg. Looks to me like you landed right where you should with your front foot. Fantastic. Just like him, he's right in line with the plate. He's not closed too much or he's not open too much. Right at the target. Remember, this is back in the days when he was winning Cy Young awards. So this is actual footage of him in his best. Okay, looking pretty good. Even with his front foot down, you can see his arm is still kind of cocked and back. It's not quite up all the way. Pretty nice. Both you guys looking really good. So let's carry it on a little bit further. I'll get rid of some of these lines. This is the point where you've driven in that direction into that stable front leg. And you're going to watch with him. He's done the same thing. He's driven that direction linearly into a stable front leg. I like to call that the wall. And that, the more that leg stabilizes, the more those hips slam open real fast, and you get a tremendous amount of hip to shoulder separation. Okay, so let me get rid of those lines. And I'll let you carry on here a little bit further. You stabilize pretty good there. Very nice. And with that being so stable, it's really going to get your torso to move forward. You're going to release the ball more out front. If this starts to drift, you tend to release the ball up high. But if you have a very stable front side, okay, it's going to get that torso to flex and release forward and let you release the ball more out front, which is really terrific for both your fastball, your curveball, and your changeup. So let's have a look at where you're at compared to Tim Lincecum again. Here he goes. See what I mean about that front leg of his? Look how stable that is. Tremendously stable. And again, what that does is that slams those hips open, gives you greater separation, and it creates kinetic energy into the ball. Okay, let's get it going a little bit further. Look at the torso flexion that he's had there. Like I say, this is back when he was throwing about 95. Little guy throwing 95. Look at the stabilization of that front side right there. It actually almost pushes back against him. Okay, so let's take you a little bit further again. Look at that torso flexion, releasing it way out front. You're way down the mound, which is awesome. You're way down there. You're releasing it way the heck down here now. Okay, so even if you were throwing 85 to the batter, it seems like you're throwing 88 because you're so much closer to him. A guy who has a very short stride and releases it up high, he could throw 88 and it seems like it's going 85 because he's throwing from a further distance. Man, you're doing some great stuff there. Really, really good. Okay, so let me just replay this just so you can have a look at it. Again, I'm not changing a damn thing. I just like to do this so you get a chance to see yourself versus a guy who's doing it at an elite level. Okay, and you know, it opens up dialogue between you and I as well. Okay, if you're interested in tweaking the odd thing. But you've pitched absolutely outstanding for us. You use a great deal of energy in your pitching. I can see you're using every ounce of your body to throw the baseball. And it's gonna pay dividends to your arm because when you're using your body to throw rather than your arm, you're not going to hurt your arm. Okay, and you seem like the kind of guy who will do his warm downs and stretches and bands and things like that to take care of his arm, that's absolutely stupendous. Okay, so let me just reset everything, let you watch both pitchers go through the motion. Matter of fact, I'm even going to switch the pitcher over here so you get to see another guy from the Cleveland Indians, Trevor Bauer, throw. Let me just see here. We'll put Trevor Bauer on the right side. Okay, there he is there, and you'll get to see him go through his motion as well, just to show you how dynamic his is as well. So here's your motion from start to finish. Really leading with that hip. That's the gold standard on the Legionnaires right there, man. Let's look at Trevor Bauer as well. You'll get a kick out of his. He actually steps back to create forward momentum. When he goes back, as he comes forward with his leg lift, he's creating forward momentum to the plate. That's that. Okay. So there you go. It's just a little food for thought. I thought you'd enjoy this. That's all for now. Keep up the good work, kid, and I will see you at the ballpark.